Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Hopefully we've got this thing pulled up right like it's supposed to. We'll find out in a second. Weather warmed back up here a little bit over the weekend. Patch of Heaven made it in. How you doing? We're back on a different system here tonight, so we can have a guest come in here shortly. Rose Services, how you doing? Easton Humphrey, appreciate y'all coming in and hanging out with us. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up for us if you would. Had a lot of racing going on over the weekend. Hey, Mr. Billy Todd, Mark's Motorsports, Easton Humphrey, how you doing, buddy? 69 Drew, Matthew Johnson, what's going on, buddy? Mr. Gordon Bryant, D&M Farms. We actually carried our car Thursday night and practiced it, and everything felt pretty good. Got a few changes we working on, and so we didn't bother carrying it this weekend. We actually went and made videos from the racetrack. Appreciate all of y'all for watching the race and stuff too, and then sharing it out for us. Hey, Vince Cox, how you doing, buddy? The NDT show. We're going to have a guest come on here in about 10 minutes or so. Easton, you wearing the shirt that we give you good, buddy. I'm glad it fit, and I'm glad you liked it. Hey, Rockin' Robbies, what's going on, buddy? There's Kayla. Did you get the email just now? I was getting ready to text you. Make sure you got the email. You welcome, Easton. You sure are, buddy. All right. Yeah, Kayla and Jason is going to join us here in a little bit and hang out with us, and y'all can ask them some questions about their cow-calf operation and their haying business. And I'm really excited about the growth and stuff on their channel. It's amazing. I really admire the way they explain stuff, or the way Kayla explains it. Jason don't explain it. His explaining is about like mine. Appreciate you coming in. The NDT show, $2. I sure do appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much. Rockin' Robbie, you love the live streams. I enjoy having them, buddy. I need to look back now and see how long of a streak have we had on Sunday nights. It's probably been close to 2 years now. There's Mr. Steve Max in the house. The sheriff's in here now. He'll keep an eye on all of y'all. Hey, Mr. Billy. Florence had a good race. Yeah, I seen a bunch of stuff online about Florence. Chuck D made it in. Our racing season's over now, Patch of Heaven. They had that double race. They raced Friday night and Saturday night, and my home track is over. There might be a little bit more going on off, and we might travel to some. But far as us racing with the GerraldFarms racing, that'll be next year. I think they got a race in January, actually. Oh, who'd I miss? Hey, Mr. Monty, what's going on, buddy? The one good thing about doing it on the computer here, the comments is a lot easier to read. Matt and Andy, we doing good. How about you, buddy? No need for the sheriff. You'll be good. Yeah, no, I don't. We don't never have any trouble on here. Mr. Steve is. That's just what I call him on here. He's the sheriff. He keeps everybody in line if we ever need him. Ooh, what did I miss? Yeah, that was a wild race last night. We missed some of the action when I was recording, but that video is doing awesome. I dropped it like a couple hours ago, and that thing's up in the thousands already. That's pretty neat. Approaching 2 years. This had your channel, Mark. Will says, smash that thumbs up, everybody. Mr. Ricky says the same thing. See, I do not see that on this software that we're using. Yeah, I seen a bunch online that Florence had a good crowd. I think Bobby Labonte was actually over there running a modified. I think he broke the track record, if I read that correct. There's our email. And if any of y'all want to be future guests on here with us, if you'll send us an email, Mark's got it right there at GerraldFarms. Clicked the wrong one. That's Mr. Tony's. Oh, see, I'm trying to get fancy now, y'all. There's our email. So if any of y'all want to be a guest on here, send us an email and to the GerraldFarms@gmail.com, and we'll try to get you lined up. Ted Pughie, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, we still planning on trying to do it. Probably in March is what I'm thinking. Racing's making America's favorite pastime. Yeah, it's hard to get out of once you do get get it in your system. It's hard to get away from. Easton, so you're telling everybody to subscribe to us. Thank you, buddy. It feels good when we're at the track and people come up to us, especially the kids, when kids come up to us with the racing videos and talk to us about it and ask questions, and to ask us questions about the farming. That's pretty neat to be a part of. Ted just got done skinning a deer. Y'all want to know when and where? Well, just as fast as I can hammer it down, we're going to start putting it out. Now that the racing's over and that things are slowing down, getting into winter, we should have more time like we did last year to get it lined up. And I want to get letting everybody know as fast as I can so the people can try to make plans to come, because I want all of y'all to come. Hey, AJ, what's going on, buddy? Drinking a beer. Only 17 likes. And how many we got in here? 27 or 28? Yeah, they stingy. They'll hit it for us in a minute, though. Maybe. Yeah, I seen your comment there, buddy, Easton, about you telling everybody to subscribe. So what's everybody been up to the weekend? The weather's back in the 70s here today and part of yesterday. Hey, John, what's going on, buddy? Appreciate you dropping in. I think Jason and Kayla's going to be on here in a few minutes. Appreciate you coming in, Ryan. You ain't missing nothing, buddy. We just getting fired up. Mr. Steve dropped the link right there. I thought this screen moves, makes it do some weird stuff here for me. Y'all have to bear with me a little bit. I'm trying this new stuff tonight. Started on a new pulling tractor today. 619 engine. Working and selling hay. Let's see if that pops up. Yep, Mr. Steve's got the links in there for the merch if anybody's interested. Looks like he's got, that might be the Teesprings and my brother-in-law's link. Hey, Miss Becky, how you doing? Appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us a little bit. Outcast, man, these comments is fast, even for the computer tonight. Outcast Projects, appreciate you dropping in. Ted's been hunting all week, opening rifle season. Ugh. How do you send the link, buddy? I don't know how you send the link, Easton. I really don't know. I just be clicking and getting lucky. I shared my first Facebook thing, I think Friday, about Chronicles of a Farmer's Wife being on here, and it put her name in blue, and I was all excited. And I've tried to do it again and can't make it do it. TFD Custom Shirts has some nice stuff. Yeah, man, my brother-in-law, he can customize it, whatever you want. Hat, shirt, socks, sweaters, mask. If you want a face mask, anything you want, he'll hook you up. Excuse me 1 second. What did Monty say? I just seen something from Monty. Jackie's smarter than he looks. Not when it comes to this technology stuff, I'm not. John said he's coming from Michigan tonight. What's the weather like, John? That's right, Easton. Mr. Steve will do the links, buddy. You need a shirt from TFD. Starting to turn over to rain and a snow mix. Rick Bort, what's going on, buddy? We fitting to have Chronicles of a Farmer's Wife, Kayla, and her husband Jason will be on here. They sure put away some small square bales of hay. It's amazing to see how much hay, the volume of hay that they can move in a day's time with the grapples and the accumulators. And I think they've even got an accumulator that wraps the bales or ties string on it the way it looks in the videos. If you will just click on on Mr. Steve's link, there's a TFD right there, Easton. He might have a link. Or Mr. Steve, next time Mr. Steve puts a link in, if you'll just click on it, it should take you to it, Easton. Appreciate you coming in, TFD. Still got snow on the ground there, Rick? Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up for us if you would, if you haven't. For 28 people, them comments be going fast sometimes. Billy Todd killed a 10-point this morning. You kill him hunting, Billy, or you kill him with your truck? Bob Bruce, what's going on, buddy? I appreciate you dropping in. Did I miss Kurt? Yep. Hey, Kurt. There you go, Easton. Mr. Steve dropped the link right there for you. All you got to do is click on it before it gets gone off of your screen, if it gets gone. I'm not sure if it gets gone or not. I'm trying to look at my text here, y'all. I'm not being rude on purpose. Y'all got me multitasking tonight, and I can barely talk. TFD, I think Chuck D FPV was in here earlier, the one that I dropped the shirts off for you that you made for him at the race last night or yesterday afternoon. How do y'all like my new socket camouflage back there for the night? Instead of opening my case up, my race suit was thrown up there. I asked Mr. Monty, and he never come finish the sheetrock for me, and he said that he was on travel restrictions with everything going on. Appreciate you coming in, Miss Becky. You got to tell us what y'all having for supper, though. You can't just say you're going to make dinner and leave. Oh, I'm going to text Ed when this is over. Oh, there's Ed. Needs to freeze so you can get in the woods without making a mess. Yeah, Ed could cook. Freezing the rain at Ryan's. Rice and stir fry. Sounds good. Push your comments down, Nathan. Easton. Whatever you own, how the comments keep going up, if you'll push the comments back down, then you can find the one you're looking for and click on it, buddy. We still got a bunch of hay that we need to be moving this upcoming week. All right. Let's see if I can do my part now. They back there laughing at me in the background, I believe. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
Good.
All right, y'all. We got Jason and Kayla here from Chronicles of a Farmer's Wife. Let them hang out with us some tonight, and they can answer some of y'all's questions instead of me.
Hey, everyone. Let's move this over there.
Can y'all see the comments and stuff on y'all's end?
I will be in just a second. There. I think we can watch now.
You can watch it from there.
Yeah, but I can't. I muted that one.
Mr. Monty's telling y'all, hey.
Hello.
How's it going?
Well, the first thing I'm gonna go right ahead and ask you a question. I'll jump in line, being I can talk over their comments. I'm really interested in them bell skis that y'all showed on y'all's square beller.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people will be interested. And are they hard to install, easy to install, and like a price range?
I got mine about 2 years ago. I really don't know the price range right now, just because it has been. And actually, I got mine about 3 years ago, I guess. And then we had them in another baler. When I sold the baler, I took them out and put them in my next one. But they're a set of them. I think it's around $800 or $900, somewhere in there, for a small square baler. I think it'll take probably 2 hours to install them. It ain't too bad. All you gotta do is pull your wedges out, and then everything just kind of fits into place on a small square. Now, a large square, I think it takes about a day to do them, and they're going to be quite a bit higher. But I don't have them in my large square, just my small square. It really helps all your knotter problems. It just the hay won't spring back into the chamber. It kind of, once it pushes in, it just stays, and helps
press too.
Yeah, it just doesn't allow that hay just to come back into the chamber.
Another question, like, is there like an expected life of them, like a X number of bales or what?
I've watched a YouTube video on them, and a guy that was in Montana, and he said that I think on there, I can't remember how many bales they put through them, but they're supposed to last a lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, we've been how many through them now? This will be our third year. We did 40,000 last year.
I think I have probably, I don't know. I want to say I know that we have probably about 150,000 on our set.
Good deal.
So
let me try to look at some comments here and see if I missed anything. Vince Cox coming in. Okay, if any of y'all have a question for them, about their operation, they do the cows and calf. I'm pretty sure that's what y'all call it, a cow-calf operation.
Yep.
And hay setup, 4M ranch. How you doing? And I noticed several YouTubers is talking on the FBN, the Farmers Business Network, and I saw you talking on it the other day, Kayla, and I still didn't realize that they're getting into the cattle side, and that seems pretty interesting.
Yeah, it just started. So it's selective for the livestock side of it. It's only available for 10 states right now in the Midwest. It's kind of going under this trial period. FBN announced they were going to go this way. I don't know, last week, I guess, when they open enrollment, more or less. It's free now instead of the gigantic cost it had been previous. We hadn't been members of FBN until just recently.
Okay.
But the livestock side of it, it's going to work around having a pharmacist, a nutritionist, a vet, and then your feed. So you guys kind of have a whole little team instead of just having like 10 different guys you meet with and talk about.
Awesome. Hey, AK Wayne, Jason or Kayla there, somebody asked, Row Services asked, how'd you hook the grapple to the forklift?
So on our forklift, it's kind of I wish we had a picture of it, but it's kind of an older forklift. It's an Alice Chalmers. We ended up, I drove the pins out. It's not really quick attach. I need to try to find a different way to make it quick attach where you can hook the grapple and the fork at the same time. But right now, it kind of works for just moving hay around. and there's 2 pins that hold the forks on. The forks come across the back, and they just lean on the back. I made some brackets up top where they kind of bolt around the square tubing. I just took like C-channel and bolt and kind of welded some pipe on there, and then had C-channel to clamp them both together across the tubing. And then on the bottom, I just put U-bolts, like strong. They're actually like truck U-bolts for like holding like a rear end on. I had the local truck part warehouse. They made them up for me. I just had them custom to what length I needed and how wide I needed them to be and everything. And I just put them U-bolts on the bottom. And then to run my hoses up and over, I took 2 idler pulleys. So when you're raising the grapple, the mast also raises as well. So I ran 2 idler pulleys. So then I ran the hoses up and over the idler pulleys, which they just go up and down as needed. So.
Okay, good deal. 69 Drew was asking, what is like the cattle market in y'all's area like?
It's pretty stable right now.
Pretty stable. I would say that feeder prices are probably, I wouldn't say that they're probably down a little bit from what they were about 6 months ago, but cow prices are still pretty steady.
Okay, well, ours is steady too. They steady down and steady getting lower.
Ours are actually, I mean,
they're decent.
They're decent. Okay. You can go and watch some nice cow calf pairs, and they top out at what, $1,500, and then it ranges.
Right. And at the smaller ones here, it really depends on what buyers show up.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's right.
If you have 3 or more buyers there, then you can have a good day. If you got 1 buyer and 10 mom and pop guys like me, it's a bad day if you sell.
Right.
Let's see what we got. Ryan's checking out. Appreciate you coming in, Ryan. Have a good week, buddy. And if y'all have any more questions, pop them in.
Yeah, back on the forklift, I just disconnected the side shift for now, and that's what runs my teeth. Now, if I put like a multiplier on it, like you would put on a tractor, then I would have my side shift and the grapple, but I never got it hooked up. So right now I just don't have no side shift. So it's a little bit inconvenient, but yeah.
I don't know anything about
it. Allows me to stack. I can, with that forklift, I can stack them 11 high on edge in the barn.
11. Wow.
Yeah. So
on y'all's, I think it's the grapple that picks them up and it wraps them. That's pretty neat. That was the first one I ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Most you can have the option to put them on a tractor or a skid loader. We had it on a tractor before, and we just had our hydraulics plumbed all the way from the back. So I just had 4 hydraulic lines where I just plug them in the back and then run it that way. If you do run it on a skid loader, you have to have a multiplier up there as well. So it's a lot of switch flipping back and forth because you roll it in, you roll your teeth in, and then you got to tie. Then you unroll your teeth out, and then you got to retract your tie. It's just, I mean, I've gotten used to it on the skid loader, and I like it on the skid loader a lot better. But yeah, you have to have a multiplier to do that. So it's pretty handy.
Rose Services said they do about 10,000 small squares a year. About how many are y'all doing?
This year we did 28,031.
Wow.
Little smalls, and then we did about 1,800 big squares.
I'd hate to be picking them up out the field the way that we pick them up.
If we had to buck them, we wouldn't do this.
There'd have to be an easier way.
Yep.
Yeah, and we have a fair. I mean, because it's just the 2 of us. So when we're out there, it's just Jason and I, and sometimes your parents will run trucks or something, but it's just us.
The future plans for y'all plan on continue growing y'all's cow herd?
Yep. So maybe for now we're just going to kind of stay steady with the small squares. I don't really intend to get any bigger. If we're doing that many, we'll be out just fine. But yeah, just try to increase our cows right now.
On the I was mentioning to y'all earlier on the phone that we were thinking about doing some corn for silage and for deer corn next year. Are y'all got any plans for any row crops or anything?
Yeah, a little bit maybe. If we do, it'll only be about 20 acres, just on a small scale for now, and just see how we go with it.
They'll Mark asked a question here, but to me, I would never answer this question. I mean, in my area, people never ask people how many cows they have. So, I mean, that's totally, if you want to answer it, good. If not, I mean, I just never answered them.
It don't matter.
We have like 65 cow-calf pairs, and then we have, I don't know, 40 some weaned yearlings. We keep everything right now. We don't sell anything until they get to about 600 pounds, 700 pounds. Our idea right now is to keep all our replacement heifers back and add to our herd. So ours is just growing.
Cull them out as they get, heavier to where
if they're not something we like, or they don't, temperament wise, or they're lacking in a function, then we just cull them out. And right now we've got, I don't know, a handful of steers. Most of our stuff has been heifers, so we've just been adding back into the group. Someday we might do some direct marketing beef, so we're just holding on to everything.
Well, you answered the next question. I was going to ask you if y'all ever sell beef straight from the farm.
It's a process. We just got into the cattle at the end of 2018, so our herd is fairly new to us.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we grew up with this stuff, but it's our first herd together. So,
well, do y'all live right in the area where y'all was raised, or did one of y'all move in to where the other one's family's at on the farm?
I moved from where I was actually raised, from 5 years and younger. I moved about 50 miles, but ever since about fourth grade, I've been right here where we're at. So,
and I moved up here, which I say that I'm not from up here, but I'm not, 20 minutes a different direction. His stepmom and my mom went to school, which was not planned.
Yeah.
So we knew each other from growing up, just in running around in the same school districts and FFA and different things. So we knew each other without actually knowing each other.
The world gets smaller and smaller. That's something that YouTube's doing to me. I'm learning it's a lot smaller than I thought. All right, AJ's asking, what kind of feed ration do y'all use, grain or just hay and grass?
Last year we just did hay, and we've seen that. I think the last 2 years, honestly, they've just been so wet here in Missouri that the mud has just drawed the cows down. So if what we're going to try to do this year is probably hay and wet DDG, or some kind of corn gluten, or somewhere along them lines, but it'll probably be wet DDG, to where we can mix it in and, boost our cows up a little bit more, just in case it does get like that again. But we've really seen a toll taken.
And that's part of why we were so excited about the FBN program, because we talked to a nutritionist last week, and we're going to send some samples off of our hay to know exactly what we're dealing with and know how to better feed our cows. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're on grass right now, and they have a foot and a half of grass still in November, but that's not going to stay around January, February, unless we get beautiful weather, which is not common for Missouri.
It wasn't typical pasture either. It was some hay that we didn't cut the second time around, so we had plenty of hay on hand. So we're like, well, let's just graze that. And if not, all we're going to do is bale it up and then feed it right back to the cows, so the cows can do the work for us.
Save from running the tractor. Another YouTuber, Brad, I believe he calls them four-legged harvesters or something like that.
And it's better nutrition too. So.
How about I had a question and it slipped right out my head. Yeah, do y'all ever run into the issue I've had over the past 7 years with cows? I probably had 5 or 7 that no matter what you do, that cow continues to nurse, whether it's nursing other babies or stand the fence line until she can get a calf convinced to try to come through it. I've got several that, there can be 8 calves in a pasture. If she's in there, she'll look like a bag of bones if you don't completely shut her off or move all the calves away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got one that her calf died and took over one of the older calves, and he actually ended up still nursing his mom and
Plus this one.
Plus this one. And he's actually one of the bulls that we saved back for next year.
Mm-hmm.
But we have one cow that, and she holds her weight pretty well.
It wasn't her fault either. Like I said, we were in the mud, and her calf, it was just born. Well, I think she had it right in a tractor rut. So, just because of that, though, we did not call her out, and we're just going to
see what she does this year.
Yeah, we're going to give her another chance this spring. So
I always try to give my cows two chances.
That was a good thing, though, that she took on another calf that wasn't even hers, and that calf still nursed off its own mom in that one. So it was pretty good. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, I started to bring the bottle calf in here and feed it on the live, but I was like, there's no way I'm going to try to run this setup here and do the live and bottle feed. Ooh, trying to see what we got. I thought I seen another question while we was talking. I'm just scrolling back in my comments. Somebody said something about jelly beans. Also had defunct jelly beans by the truckloads. That might be talking about feeding them, or it might be talking about somebody else. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, I got a question. In y'all's area, have y'all ever heard of feeding chicken litter to cows?
Not necessarily feeding it, but we lay it, they lay it on their pasture grounds for manure, for field manure.
Right.
Instead of fertilizer.
That's what I think it was last year. There's a Clemson University here. It's not too far from me, a couple hours. And their ag department, there was guys that's actually feeding it. They have to send it through a process like a heat treatment or do something to it, but they're actually feeding it. I couldn't ever make myself try it because of just the thought of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Now the kids' chickens, because the kids have chickens, a lot of them, they follow behind like the calves at home.
Yep, out in the dry lot.
So the chickens are intermingled with the calves at home. They just freeload around.
Appreciate you coming in, Kurt. Have a good week, buddy. Trying to see if I got anything else written down for you. I think I've gone over my questions. If anybody else put something in, if y'all got any more questions, just put them in for them. What's the plans for y'all's YouTube channel? I mean, you have any upcoming changes or anything as far as the channel goes? Now, don't give away a surprise or nothing now. I'm not putting you on the spot.
I don't know. I'll probably just keep doing the same thing I've been doing. I really keep thinking that I'm going to just drop it down to 2 days a week and just do a set schedule, but that has yet to happen. I just do it whenever I feel the need to bombard YouTube. The kids are home for the next few weeks, so they'll probably be out and about with the cameras a little bit more. They like to video and they're not coached. So if you watch the videos, they just say whatever they want.
Yeah.
And they don't do too bad of a job.
Right.
So they're 10 and 5. So they definitely love the farm life, and thankful that we get to do it with them. So
appreciate you coming in, Matt and Andy. Have a good week, buddy. Mr. Money asks, do you sell most of your hay to horse farms or cattle farms?
Horse farms, that's our primary thing, especially with the small squares. Like I said earlier, I went down and loaded my truck. In our area, I have to almost truck about 75% of our hay out just because there's no horse farms right around us. It's just, we got to go like to a bigger city or something like that. And most of everything that we have is stables. So it's pretty well consistent. And we've kind of teamed up with them, and it's a lot better to be consistent rather than just saying somebody's going to come get hay today or, Tuesday or Saturday or Sunday. I kind of like a set schedule. It just works out better for us.
I would say we probably sell 85% of our hay. One of the reasons we got the cows in the beginning was because we'd have these we call them bottom bales, stuff that we couldn't sell to the horse people, and stuff wasn't quite good enough for me to feed at home either. And so we just throw it on a compost pile. Well, it wasn't really doing us any good. It was just throwing out hay and didn't have anywhere to go with it. So we got into cows to salvage our bottom bales.
But with rotational grazing, you feed less and less hay all the time. So
right. Well, Vince Cox asks, I don't know if y'all have any idea, are cows smarter than emus? I've never had any dealings with emus.
I don't know. No, I feel like our cows are pretty smart because they can beat us to the gate when they move. they outrun my butt.
I was rolling up some polywire the other day, and I mean, I wasn't even going to move them, or we were going to move them later down that day, paddock. But I was rolling up some wire across the field, and they're running to the gate like they think they're going to get moved, so. But, yeah.
It's probably been 5 years ago now, way before my YouTube days. I think it's Polyphase Farms or some. So yeah. My brother-in-law was putting me on it, and we built a bunch of chicken tractors, put out into cow pens to try to rotate. I asked you the other week about mob grazing. That's what we would do. We would put, like, say, 20 cows on a 3-acre place for a day. And try to run the chicken tractors over it. So it would be like 8 weeks before the cows would be back on that slice of the pie again. But to me, I couldn't make it work. I mean, it was just a lot of trouble trying to, I reckon on the smaller scale, if I would have done a 40-acre paddock at a time with 200 cows on it, I don't know, I couldn't make it work for our setup.
Well, your parents want to do the chickens behind the cows, but right now there's not enough of us to do it. Otherwise, we'd have to move the chickens every day almost. And come summertime, we don't always have time besides to move cows and check them and make sure they're okay.
Yeah. That's Joel Salatin with Polyphase Farms.
Right.
Yep. So, nope. They do pick through the manure though, and they claim that it's especially in the summertime. If you can do it, the fly larvae, you won't have the flies in yours bad. So,
well, I can really see that helping because the flies do become an issue here where we are. I don't know how bad y'all have them in the summer.
It ranges.
We didn't have them too bad this summer, which we're trying to move the cows a little bit more. So, like, we've got barn swallows and a few tree swallows, I think, that are coming in, but for sure barn swallows, and they'll just like bomb dive the cows, and that kind of helps too. So,
all right. PV Farms asks, what would you say was and is the best thing about being a YouTube creator?
I guess that's me.
That was for Jason.
I guess being able to share our farm story. Ours is different because I get to work day in and day out with him. It wasn't always like that. I worked full-time finance, 60-hour weeks beforehand. So this really was our first trial and error year of working just us together. Last year we had hired hands, and that made it a little bit easier for me to adjust into the role. And then this year we tackled it by ourselves. But being able just to share our story, and farming is hard work, but it is fun and it's rewarding. And I don't look at it as a job. I still get up at 4:30 every day, regardless if it's sunny or raining outside. And I go about my day just like I would any other time.
Yeah.
But the cows make me happy, and it sure does beat an office view.
Everybody's got different climates too. So, you might get somebody from Missouri that we're from Missouri. Well, sharing our story with them might help them learn. And there's some places too, like the climates are different, but some things are still alike. So it's just all about trying to help others out.
We learn a lot from YouTube. Like, we don't quote unquote watch real TV anymore. We just have our YouTube family, and that's what we learn from. We watch how others do things, and we try to add it in. And if it works for us, then we keep it. And if it doesn't, well, we kind of just move on around it.
It is the hardest work I've ever done, but it don't feel like it at the end of the day and the end of the year.
Yeah.
A passion, obsession, kind of.
But it's not something that's like, I don't know, gonna break me if YouTube just drops off the end of the world tomorrow. I still have everything that I get to do, so YouTube's just another added bonus to it.
Man, I had another good question for you and forgot. Let's see. What kind or manufacturer tractors do y'all use? And I'm going to put prefer on it. I'm going to add that to his question.
We're torn down the middle. I really like my red tractors.
Kayla does, and I mean it just kind of depends on what works. But when at the end of the day, it's all about dealer support and how fast parts can get here.
Yep.
I mean, when you've got hay down and you need to be
Time
baling
sensitive.
tomorrow, well, you can't be waiting 3 or 4 days for parts. So, it's like showing corn or something. Well, we can get parts where it's at, but once your hay's cut, you gotta roll still. So you just gotta find ways to make it work, or
I don't know. I will be
gotta do something.
I will probably be real sad when my 52 no longer gets to bale hay. But
for us, the John Deere dealer is pretty close, so that's kind of like where we hang out. But the Case dealers, it's about the same distance. It's just Deere has just a little bit more
service
on getting their parts, and of course quicker.
So I drove your tractor this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And yours is a 5230 or 40?
50.
Mine's
5250.
5250.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot like the 5140 that we just picked up this spring.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, that air conditioner has really spoiled me this.
Yeah.
It works. It's lovely when it works correctly.
Oh, yeah. Ours quit like the second week I used it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was unhooking that stuff. I was going back to my 574 open cab.
Yeah, no, just open windows.
Just a minute ago, one of y'all mentioned about employees. So as of this year, it's just like a family farm now. Y'all pretty much doing everything with no hired help, pretty much.
Yep. This is our first year doing that, other than when I first started. Yeah.
Right. Awesome.
Yep.
Make sure I haven't missed any. Mr. Steve Mack likes my 574.
Right.
What is y'all's opinion on newer financed equipment versus older equipment if you're able to keep it running yourself?
That's hard because you kind of got to move with. If you can keep getting parts, then that's great. But if you get too far along and your parts you can't afford your parts, or you can't find the parts, it makes it really hard.
Right.
Because we have both. I mean, we have new stuff and old stuff.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be fun, but all the time too, you got to have a good cash flow. So that's the most important part, though. Is I don't know. I guess it just depends on how much you're doing. And for us, I mean, I don't know. It just seems to work on better. Say, for instance, if we have an older mower, as you work down the line, that's the way we always figured it. You don't have to have a brand new mower, but you have to have a very good, reliable baler, because if your hay is down, that's okay if your mower is down, but you got to be able to still get it up. So that's our thinking is probably to have a better baler than a better mower. But it just kind of all just preference on what you think. So
I think when you're starting out, go small.
Yeah,
like,
go small.
Don't go out and buy brand
older
new.
If you're just starting out.
Yeah, start with the old.
If you're going to learn on something, don't learn on something that's brand new and hit a tree or something like that.
Or have your wife run something that's brand new and not
post in it. Keener Farms is asking, how do we get the next generation who want to get into farming? I reckon trying to think of what he's asking. I reckon what do we need to do better and put stuff out maybe to
There are so many programs. Like I know for here, there are so many programs that people don't even utilize. Like what is it called that with the cows? What is that?
Well, it's NRCS, yeah. But there's NRCS and USDA has different programs depending on what you're in. Reach out to them. But that is right though. I mean, like if say for instance, if you walk into the sale barn these days, all you see is the older generation. You don't see no younger generation, and it's
sad. I mean,
sad,
it's almost where that, like I would say, our parents' age group, not the older ones, like the 80s, but probably like the 40s and the 50s. They've seen it, so they're not really wanting their own children to go through the same failures that they had. You know, that's how I perceive it. Like my mom and dad doesn't want us to fail, you know, because they've been through that. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get down or they don't make it fun. Like we really want the kids to take over this business someday. So we try to make it fun and not work, you know. We want them to help us on the tractors. We want them to go with us to feed cows. And I think that's where that fine line is, that people get burnt out of it as growing up on the farm and leave the farm because it's not fun. Yeah. It's work for them.
Yeah, we actually when I was raised on a farm up until the mid 80s, and my family, they farmed tobacco, corn, and some grain. Then the family farm dissolved and went away. Mm-hmm. About 9 years ago now, my son wanted to get into livestock. You know, we started with goats and had probably 350 head of goats at one time. Then we trended away from the goats to the cows. And then like 2 years ago, he made the decision that he don't want to be on the farm, which I'm glad for him, because he's turning out going to be an awesome welder and fabricator. And so maybe he'll still want to come back and do his fabricating and working and stuff out of, we build him a shop on the farm. Yeah. I'm hoping.
Yeah. I guess I'm very fortunate because when I grew up, we had farming, and then our family farm got sold when I was in high school. And I really thought my farming days was going to be over. And as a female, they're not always as gracious to be farmers. So I guess I'm one of the lucky ones that get to do it every day.
Yeah. And like around us, like we have a lot of older generation farmers. So like when I told Dad I was in FFA and I wanted to farm, he's like, oh, there's no way. I mean, by the time you buy ground or even want to rent ground, who wants to rent ground to a first generation farmer, you know? And it's like, when somebody does that, they take a big risk. But that's
you got
for my first renter that rented land to us. I thank him very much, because that's what got it all started. So, between Dad, my neighbor, and
what was it, 20 acres that you started with?
The first bar rake I had, it was $75. So you know, that's the way you got to get started though. So, and it raked a lot of hay.
Yeah, I've still got my first hay equipment I bought. It's a bar rake. In our area, people call them sidewinders. Mm-hmm. It's an old John Deere sidewinder and a New Holland hay bind that we cut with. And it was slow. I mean, and we have so many fire ants in our area that it would stop up. Seemed like every 20 foot, if the ground was real moist, it would pull the clunk up, and then you got to dig the fire ants out the cutter. That was a blessing when we bought a disc mower.
Yeah.
Rose Services is asking about how many bales do y'all run through y'all small balers before you look for new ones or think about upgrading?
Typically about 40 to 50,000, somewhere right in there. If you get much over that, then I don't know how long, but eventually you're going to have nodder problems and stuff like that. But we keep our stuff, we grease every single day, but we just try to figure out that's probably about our sweet spot.
Mark, Motorsport and Farming, is asking, do y'all think the older equipment is easier to work on and fix than working on something new?
As far as it goes for tractors, I would say that's probably true. But I mean, take for instance, like a small square baler, it's pretty well, they haven't changed a whole lot on it. I mean, about the only electronic thing you got now is an otter fan. But I mean, basically, most of all your hay equipment, stuff like that, is going to be pretty well standard. But the tractors can, I don't know. This is the first year I had a newer tractor, so we'll see where it goes. But I would say it might be a little bit more complicated to work on, but it's all about, the way I can see things too is all about keeping up with the times. And if you don't keep up with the times, then, you don't want to
Get
left behind and wishing you did later on. So if we can learn the stuff now and trying to keep up with the times, then we might, be able to fix it a little easier than if we wait 10 years or 20 years to get something in.
Did y'all see, I done a rebuilding video earlier in the year. Time flies with YouTube too. It's probably been 8 months ago now, guessing. But they run the Massey Ferguson, I think it was about the same model as Square Baler. And they had already 400,000 bales on that baler since the first of the year when I went.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's unreal that volume of bales could be pushed through a baler.
Right. Yep. Nope, that's crazy.
AJ says hay farming is almost untouched by technology compared to the other sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people just don't realize that how much, I don't know, some of the guys around here will be like, oh, we're going to go out and bale hay today. Oh, we might get 300 bales. I'm like, for us, if we're only getting 300 bales, we ain't turning the baler on. Right. If we can't hit a 1,200 bale day, then for us, it's not worth it.
Yeah, ours are easily push out 400, and sometimes we can get to that 500 an hour mark.
Yeah.
Wow. There's somebody, I don't know if this is a question or what this is. MHM Tractors. Is that a brand of a tractor? Does that ring a bell? It don't ring a bell to me. Might be a comment. I was just going to mention it so if it was over my head. And if I missed any of y'all coming in and commenting and stuff, I'm sorry. I was trying not to interrupt our guests too bad. I don't see any more. Any comments or anything? But I sure do appreciate y'all coming on and hanging out with us tonight, and look forward to the upcoming videos from y'all's farm. I don't always get to comment on them, but I do try to watch y'all's, and a lot of people that support me. It's getting harder each day as the list continues to grow, but I'm still doing my best.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yep, thank you.
All that you did to get my channel started, I appreciate it.
No problem. I just want, like I said, as soon as I seen it and the way you was explaining stuff, I knew that was going to go far. And I think the sky's the limit for y'all's channel, and continue pushing. And we look forward to seeing how far it can go.
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
All right. You too. Thanks, Jackie.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
All right. Hope y'all enjoyed Kayla and Jason coming over and hanging out with us tonight and chatting with us. John's awful proud of them too. They're doing an awesome job. I didn't realize that they didn't have hired help on the farm either until a while ago. Yeah, Easton, we plan on racing at Lakeview next year. We sure do. No problem, Kayla and Jason. We enjoyed having y'all. Y'all got to do some of the talking and take some pressure off of me. Rural Life with Ron's leaving. I appreciate you coming in, Ron. Have a good week, buddy. And if any of y'all want to be future guests on here with us, if Mr. Steve Mack will drop the link in again, just send us an email and we'll have you on as a guest and probably pick y'all's brain some. talk too much. No, talking's good though. You know, I like to learn stuff and hear what people's telling me. Probably would if you could find any help. There's the email address on the screen, or you touch Steve's link. I don't know if you touch it when I highlight it, if it'll work or not. I don't talk enough on mine. Especially like if we're doing stuff or something where I need to talk. A lot of times I'll just show the work or show what we're doing. I've got to clean my desk off. It is filthy. Have a good Thanksgiving. Appreciate you coming in, Vince. I'm fixing to get it off here, and we're going to get this shop shut up and look forward to another week here. And we sure appreciate each and every one of y'all for supporting us here at Gerald Farms. And if you do want to be on here, shoot us an email. If not, we look forward to seeing each and every one of y'all next Sunday night. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Yeah, I covered the outlet up because I ain't got none of my YouTube buddies ain't come finish mudding it for me. Y'all have a good one.